What is up YouTube? My name is, as always, Mr. Esnorb, and I welcome you all back to another video on my channel. In the last episode of our skill money making guides, we looked at mining and we found out how we can make as much money as possible with the skill mining. And in this episode we want to look at another skill, and this time skill, or today's skill, is Herblore. Herblore essentially is pretty easy to explain. I mean, it's the skill that has to do with all the herbs that are in Runescape 3. So it's the skill to mix some potions, clean some herbs, creating bombs, creating power burst potions, etc. And on one hand, it's definitely one of the most useful skills, and on the other hand, it's kinda useless sometimes. Because you might think now, why should you train Herblore since you can buy all the potions in the Grand Exchange? And the answer is pretty simple, because you can't buy all the potions in the Grand Exchange. Sure, there are a lot of potions that you can just buy and then you don't need a Herblore level to get them. But there are potions, especially the potions that are on the highest level, for example overloads, that you can't buy in the Grand Exchange. And this essentially means that when you want to get, for example, some overloads, you need the Herblore level to create them on your own, and that's why Herblore is one of the most useful skills in this game. This guide is not focused on how to use the skill or how to get as much XP as possible, and rather we want to look at how to make as much money with it as possible. So let's first of all look at some of the useful items that you can use to maximize your profit. Okay, and exactly like in the last guide, you don't have to own all these items that I will showcase you guys now, but the more of them you have, the more you can make profit. So if you don't have them at all, it's no biggie, but if you have some of them on your bank, just use them while you try to make money with Herblore. So let's start up with the Scroll of Cleansing. The Scroll of Cleansing is an item that you can unlock with 20,000 Dungeoneering tokens. It requires level 49 in Dungeoneering and level 49 in Herblore, and once it's activated, you will have a permanent passive effect on your account. And this effect essentially will make your potion crafting faster, and it has a chance to save your second ingredient. So this means that potions normally are created with 2 ingredients. So you need a vial of water, which is kind of the base, then you need an herb, and you need some ingredient. And with this scroll activated, you have a 10% chance to save that ingredient, which essentially means that you can save some money while making potions and therefore increase your profit. So to unlock this scroll is definitely really recommended if you want to make some money. Next up we have the Botanist Amulet. And the Botanist Amulet has a 5% chance when worn that you will create a 4-dose potion instead of a 1-dose potion. The downside of this amulet is that every time it activates, it uses a charge. So you always have to recharge the amulet to make as much profit with it as possible. These charges also cost something. For example, if we ask the wiki, it costs about 3,000 coins, one charge. So it only makes sense when you mix some really expensive potions where one charge makes a big difference. Then it can make some serious money. But when you try to make some low level potion, this amulet will rather lose you money than really make you some money. Next up, we have the Factory Outfit, and this is essentially an item that I also don't own. I don't have this one even on my main account, and it essentially has a set bonus of 3, which provides you a 12.5% chance to create a 4-dose potion instead of a 3-dose potion. So same as, for example, the Botanist necklace, it can increase the potion doses you get while training Herblore and increase your profit within. So having this outfit, or at least 3 pieces of it, is definitely worth when you try to make some money. Next up, we have the Portable Well. And the Portable Well is an item that you can buy in the Grand Exchange, but often you can also use it while skilling. And the Portable Well is kind of a cheat code when you train Herblore, because first of all, it gives you 10% increased experience while mixing potion, which is just insanely nice. It has a 5% chance to double your potion, which is also really nice. And if you need so, you can always take vials of water from it. But I think especially the effect that it can double your potions is just insane when you try to make some money with Herblore. And yeah, it's an item that you essentially can buy in the Grand Exchange. And it's not that cheap actually. But when you are, for example, on a skilling world, so you hop, for example, onto world 84, which is the normal portable skilling world. Or yet now in my case, we go to world 12 because 84 is already filled. And you now teleport to Fort Farinfree, which is essentially just the skilling place for all the people in Gielinor. I mean, it's like the skilling hub. You often have a lot of people here training their skills. And normally you will find a world where you have some stuff like the portable well just standing right here. And the effect is exactly the same. So it doesn't matter if you are buying these or you just, essentially stay here and train. And in this case, this means that you can use the portable well without spending any money, which makes it a really good addition for training the skill and for making money with the skill. So definitely go to a world where you find a portable well. We have the modified botanist mask. And I mean, the botanist outfit is essentially just a XP buff to your gains. So whenever you're training the skill or you try to make money with it, you just get essentially 6% extra XP. But the modified botanist mask also has an effect that you have a chance of 5% to double your potions and sending them to the bank. So this means when you wear the botanist mask and you train on a portable well, you essentially have a 10% chance to double your potion, which again increases your gains while training or mixing potions and try to make money with Herblore. And last but not least, we have the Herblore cape, which is a really good addition when you try to make money, but only when you try to make money with cleaning herb. Because the Herblore cape has an active effect that when you have some grimy, dirty herbs in your inventory, you can just activate the passive effect and it will clean all of them automatically. You don't get any XP, which is the downside, but when you try to make money with cleaning herbs, you will clean an inventory just in one tick and you will definitely make more money than when you just clean them normally. And then as a last item, I have also on my list the Underworld Grimoire 1, which is really easy to unlock and it has an effect with a 10% chance to create a necromancy potion 4 dose or a super necromancy potion 4 dose instead of a 3 dose while wearing the grimoire. So when you try to make some necromancy potion for money or just to use them, just use the grimoire and you get some extra doses. I mean, why not? Okay, so now the question stays, how do you really make money with that skill? And the answer is kind of simple and also kind of complicated, because you essentially have 3 different options when you try to make money with Herblore. And the first option I have already mentioned is by cleaning herb. Every herb in the game has these 2 states. Either it's the grimy one, which you normally get from drops, for example, or it's the clean one that you need when you try to make some potions. And often there is a difference in price between the 2 of them. So for example, when we look at this wiki page, we can see that you can make some real profit with cleaning herbs depending on the herb. And at the moment, for example, the most profit you make with cleaning toad flax. So this means that every herb I take and I clean, I will make about 1000 coins profit. And you can always test this by just buying a toad flax, and now you just skyrocket the price in the Grand Exchange, so you will insta buy it and then you can see on what price you really bought it. And in my case, it's for 5,387 coins. So this is the insta buying price essentially for this herb. You can get it cheaper, but normally you have to wait if you want to get it cheaper. And now when I clean it, I can sell it back to the Grand Exchange and just reduce the price by a lot. And then I see how it insta sells. And I can definitely see that even though the wiki says I would make a lot of profit with it, in reality, I actually don't at the moment. So this is just an advice from me to you. Before trying to make money with cleaning herbs, just check in the Grand Exchange if you really have a good profit margin on them. And let's be honest right here, cleaning herbs is often not the best money per hour and also really bad XP per hour. I know this guide solely focuses on money, but I mean, when you can make XP while training or making money with the skill, why not just, get the XP, you know? So So I'm not the biggest fan of cleaning herbs, but sometimes there are herbs out there that really make a lot of profit. And when you find one, you can easily abuse them, especially when you have the cape. Next up on our list, we have the unfinished potions. Unfinished potions you essentially get when you mix a vial of water with one of the herbs that is out there in Gielinor. And there are unfinished potions when you can make some serious profit while crafting them. So for example, the Guam one, if I mix one vial of water with a clean Guam, I will make about 500 coins profit per potion. And as I said, there is an existing unfinished potion for almost every herb that is in the game. And you can essentially just look up which of these unfinished potions will make you the most money. There are also some potions, for example, like the Marentil one, where you just lose money and a lot of money when you try to make them. In my case at the moment, the Bloodweed potion is essentially the best money or the best profit when you mix them in an unfinished dose. So again, I can check it by buying a Bloodweed, buying a vial of water, mix them together and sell it back to the Grand Exchange. And as you can see, I bought the clean herb for 8,999 coins, 55 for a vial of water, and I sold it for 10,500, which means that I made a profit of 1,446 coins if I try to insta buy and insta sell all the ingredients, which is actually a nice margin. So mixing unfinished potions can really make you some good money. The downside again is that you get less XP or just low XP rates while doing it. And I also think a really big downside of it is that you don't have any passive effect from the useful items that we looked at before, because you can't mix a 4-dose unfinished potion or something. And I also think you don't get, for example, double the potion when you do it at a portable well, because it is no potion, it is a unfinished potion, you know. So the profits can definitely be higher with the third method. And the third method is kinda obvious: mixing potions. And if we talk about potions, there are a lot of potions in the game. And as I already mentioned, there are potions out there, for example an overload, that you can't sell to the Grand Exchange. So mixing them is really useful for your account to use them, but you can never make money out of it. But there are other potions in the game that can make you some serious money. For example, if I create a anti-fire potion, this will profit me about 3k per potion, which is definitely a better margin than making the unfinished potions. And you can also profit from all the passive effect that we looked at earlier in this guide. The only downside is that you often have to spend a lot of money to make money. For example, in this case, I first have to spend about 8k per potion or 7.5k per potion to get that 3k profit. So I need some money already on the account to start making potions and then making more money with it. And this is essentially the best thing you can do now. You can look up potions and you can look up which potion has a good margin, and then you can create this potion and make money with it. But there is also a second option to make money with potion. And this one I think is rather interesting, because this method solely focuses on all the passive effects that we have when we looked at the items that are useful for making money with Herblore. Because in our case, we have, for example, something like an aggression potion. And an aggression potion essentially loses you 8k per potion. But as soon as we then look at the fact that we, for example, have a 10% chance to save the second ingredient, we can see that with every 10th potion we can make about 50k profit. We also have the option to double a potion, which is another 50k in this case. And we also have the option to get a higher dose, which is also about 17k. And this solely functions because this potion is so fucking expensive. So there is a money-making guide for potions like the aggression potion, which actually is a potion that should lose you money, but since you have all these passive effects, for example from the botanist amulet, the portable well and all that shenanigans, you should at least get 22 million per hour. But this is rather an experienced method and also a risky one, which we will try in this guide, but it's not something that I can advise you doing, because as I said, you really depend on having luck while mixing the potions and get those effects, and then you definitely need the items that I showcased you earlier in this guide. So since we try to make a beginner-friendly guide, let's see which potion will give me the most net profit. Okay, so in my case, I have a few potions written out right now. Definitely the best one at the moment is the Super Divination potions, but I am actually not sure if this is actually the real numbers at the moment because they seem a little bit overtuned, but we will definitely try it out. The Super Hunting potion is also a really good one in terms of profit. For lower level players, for example, the Prayer potion is a really interesting one because it also makes you profit and it makes you good XP. So it's not the best to make some money, but sometimes you should early on rather take a potion where you make a little bit less money, but rather get a little bit more XP to level up the skill. And when you then have a decent level, you can look at the money option ones, you know. And last but not least, we also have the Super Necromancy potion, and I have solely written this one out because of the Underworld Grimoire, because this is an item that only buffs you while mixing necromancy potions, and then you have an extra buff, but the profit is okay-ish, you know. But the next thing I do is I now test all of them, because you can never fully trust the prices on the wiki, because this just takes the normal Grand Exchange price, and depending on how often an item is really traded in the Grand Exchange, prices can vary when you actually buy the potion. For example, we start with the Divination one. We need a Divination potion 3, which already does not buy. So I try to buy a Divination potion 4, for example, and look if this one buys. Okay, it does for 30k. So let's buy 11 of them now, and then a Sygamite fruit, which we also buy 11 right now, and they also do not buy instantly. So let's find out how much the price actually is. Okay, it's 800 coins. It's not that high that I thought. So now I have to turn these vials into 3 doses, which I can while using the decant or descent option, I'm not sure, at some NPCs. There is one in the Grand Exchange, and there also is one in the War's Retreat if you have unlocked it, or in my case in the Max Guild, and I can decant vials to 3 doses. So now he takes all my vials that I have in the inventory and essentially makes them 3 doses like. And now let's mix. So I take 11 of the potions out and also 11 of the Sygamite fruits, and then I mix them together to find out the exact margin of this potion. Okay, let's sell them back, and they don't sell again, which is a bummer. But I also try to get them into 4 doses right now, because often potions are mostly traded in the 4 doses variant. So let's try if they sell like that, and they just don't. And I think this is the biggest problem with this potion right here, because yes, on paper the money is really good, but the problem is you can't really sell the potion because no one really uses a Super Divination potion. I can always look this one up by, for example, take the potion and look it up in the Grand Exchange website of RuneScape itself, and then you also see how many of them are traded every day. And 100 for a whole day is definitely a really low number for an item that you want to make money on. For example, a prayer potion is traded about 100,000 times a day. So this is exactly why we try out these methods before buying big in the potions, because this one here is a really good profit, but you will have some real trouble selling them. So this essentially means that you will most likely not make a lot of money, or you make a lot of money, but you can never really tell how much it really is, because they do not even insta sell for 5k. So what the fuck, this is essentially a dead item, you know. And the same goes actually for the Hunter potion. It's also one that is kinda never traded, so you can try make some money with it, but you will most likely not. As you can see, it does not buy for 100k, which is essentially again a dead item. Okay, so I have now finally found a potion that will really net profit me some money, and it's the Prayer Renewal potion. You have to take in consideration at the moment that we have double XP right now, so essentially all the prices of the potions vary a lot because a lot of people will create potions at the moment. But for us, we have found one potion that will make me some profit, and now let's see how much money we can really make in an hour. And I will test this method, and I will now test this money per hour with my found Prayer Renewal potions, and I will also test this method that we looked at with the Bloodweed, just to get the number out there. So let's get on to it.
I'm just going with the gut. Never had a doubt, felt like this is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now. We know I ain't ballin' yet. Hoes wanna holler, oh no, I don't call them back. Girl, let me see you hold it down, we gon' have a blast. Cause I just wanna know.
Okay, I made some potions for 15 minutes straight, and now let's do the math, how much profit I made with it. So we made 33 those 4 potions, which is 776,457 coins. And we also made 669 of the 3 dose variants, which is again 11 mil. So we add these numbers together and then we see the money that I made with the potions. But we also had supplies, obviously. We had to buy the unfinished potions, we had to buy some mushrooms, and we used some botanist necklaces. So the price of all the supplies together is 8,300,000 whatever coins. So let's subtract this number right here, and we get a profit of 3.69 millions in 15 minutes. So if we add this or multiply this times 4, we get the number for an hour, and this means that with our prayer renewal potions we made about 14 million hours profit per hour, which is a really decent number. But here's the big but, you know. Always check the potions that you try to make, and profits can always vary. They depend on the demand of the potion itself, they depend on the demand of the supplies, for example, and always check what potion you make to make some profit. But as you can see, with a clearly straightforward method of a potion and creating it for an hour, you can make up to 14 millions per hour, which is a absolutely insane number for skilling, if you ask me, because I watched some nice YouTube videos on the second screen and had a good time. And now let's test the risky method with the searing ashes and all that shenanigans and see if this also makes some profit. That's 15 minutes done. Let's do the math now. Okay, this number is the total money I've spent on supplies for this method. So we spent about 37 million coins just on the supplies for these 15 minutes. So if we add this up times 4, we would spend 147 millions just on supplies for 1 hour of money making with this method. And to my, not surprise, but also surprise, we actually made money out of these potions. So I made 43 million GP in this 15 minutes. So we take the other calculator again. Now we take the number of our supplies and we subtract this number from the profit, and we made 6.8 million coins for 15 minutes. So this is approximately, if we multiply this times 4, about 27 million coins per hour when we are creating the aggression potions. But again, I really have to say, with this method, it only makes you money when you have a lot of these useful items. For example, in my case, I did not even have the factory outfit, so the profit could even be a little bit higher because I don't own this one. But I had the botanist mask, I used the botanist amulet, I used the portable well and all that shenanigans, and thanks to all these additional potions that we got, and thanks to the scroll that saved us a lot of supplies, and I mean, just look at these numbers right here. I saved 72 searing ashes, which is about 3.5 million coins that I saved just to the scroll. So the second method I show you guys is really just available when you have all the shenanigans that saves you money while training, you know. But as you can see, with Herblore, you can make some serious money per hour. And yeah, if you guys still have some questions, just leave them to me in the comments. And now I wish you all a great weekend. Have a nice day, and I see you next time. Bye!